He's connecting to audio.
There you go.
Look at, he keeps his diary in his pocket.
Hey there. Nice to see you.
Good evening.
Glad to have you here. Is this the first time you're joining us, John?
I think I was involved a couple of years ago, and unfortunately, due to some health issues of my wife, and she has passed about 3 months ago, I took a hiatus from everything I was working on. So I'm trying to come back and capture some and rejuvenate myself to keep moving forward.
Well, I'm happy to be a part of that. And yes, we do this every Wednesday. So I always welcome anyone to join. No charge. This is just something that I do to give back to the author community that I love so much. And so today, so I wanted to go over a couple of things. First, the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of revisiting important things that beginners need to know. And the first thing I talked about is the need to go through the editing process with a professional editor. And then the second thing that we talked about was how to find and work with an illustrator. And I talked about the process that I go through. So today I thought it would be a good thing to just spend a little bit of time talking about a common question that I'm asked, which is, what does a designer do? And where do I find one? What do I look for? So I will just do just some words of wisdom there, and then we'll open up for any, newbie questions, self-publishing questions. For those of you that have more advanced questions and are part of my mastermind, the advanced questions and open Q&A will happen after this from 9 to 10. So that's for my mastermind group. For those of you on Zoom that want to hang out and continue moving forward, that have more advanced questions, you're welcome to do that. Okay, so let's talk about what a designer does. So we have the editor who's going to work with all of your words and get that solidified so that it's perfect. It has a good story arc. The line and copy editing, meaning spelling, grammar, all of those things, everything flows well, and you are done with your manuscript. So you copyright that. If you are, like me, a children's book author, then you're working with an illustrator and finding that illustrator and then working through the process, storyboards, more detailed line art, then color. And at the end, it's all done with probably a cover illustration created for you. So now you have your words, you have your images. So the individual that comes in and takes the words and the images and puts them together and creates this beautiful package that is a combination of both and lays out the book. Important things with regard to a designer and what they do. They are experts at laying things out in the typography, the typesetting, and providing the ability for your words to really jump off the pages, just the right font choice, the layout for you. And in the end, what they're going to do is take the file layout and everything that they've done and export it into files that you will then use to upload to KDP, to upload to Ingram Spark if you're doing an Ingram Spark version of your book, to send to your printer. If you have a printer that you're going to be doing like a small run of printing or a large volume, then they will go through and create the files the printer will need in order to get that moving. So I want to show you my favorite designer for children's books and share a little bit and show you some of the things that a really good designer will do for you. So I'm going to go first of all to my friend Praise Safler's website here. And this is praisesafler.com. If you are a children's book author looking for a fabulous design team, then this is definitely a good place to go. I'm going to post the link here in the chat. I'll also put it underneath the video on YouTube when we're finished here. And if you do connect with Praise, let her know you're one of my authors, or you've heard about her from me, because there's a specific package that I've kind of pre-negotiated with her that is going to serve you really well. And she'll need to know that to follow the certain recommendations that I have for folks, for my authors. So that will get you some additional discounts and some additional things that you might have not otherwise received. So Praise Saffler, we're going to just go to her portfolio really quickly. Most of these books here are things that we've done together over the past probably 4 years. And we'll just wait for this to come up. This is one of my books, but let's take a look at the way that a cover design, and between the cover image and also the typography, right? The type of font you choose and the way you lay out the book, what this can do for a book. Now, a designer will take the image that's provided, cover image, and will choose just the right combination of fonts that is going to bring out the type of book. Now, it's not all the same, right? For this one, it's slightly different. If we're looking at, look at this, this is absolutely adorable. Zora and the Very Big Question. So you can see how the font really complements, and you can see with some of the layout here. This one complements a farm kind of book. This one is perfectly complemented for the type of book that has been created here. You can get to things that are more, little more hand drawn. So we had the illustrator create a font, a special font of their own, because they wanted something that was totally different. So you can see how all of this came together really nicely. Claire Blair's Unruly Hair, right? You really see it. She wanted to project this kind of unruly feeling. When we look at Henry and the Bullfrog, you can see the font choice really tells you something, that there's something special about this book. If we would have used something like this, it would be totally out of place, right? So it's a key thing that a designer has that you will not usually find with an illustrator. I do have many of my authors that come to me and say, my illustrator says that he or she can lay out the book for me, and they'll charge me, so much money. Usually it's less because they're doing it as part of their illustration package. However, they don't have the same design eye, and they also quite often, I would say 95% of the time, and I'm not kidding, that's no exaggeration, 95% of the time, the files that are produced by an illustrator don't typically meet the needs of KDP and Ingram Spark. They just don't have the knowledge of the unique requirements of those. For example, Ingram Spark has ink limits that can cause all kinds of issues if the files aren't created correctly. CMYK versus RGB, right? These are different types of color saturation. And quite often the illustrator doesn't convert it to the CMYK for print. So we have differences in the way things look from one to the next. And so it can be quite, hi baby, you want to say hi? Oh,
I just got here.
okay. I'm taking a break, but I'm online. I'm on Zoom right now, and I'm also on YouTube. You go hang with Grandpa, and I'll be out in a little while.
Well,
Okay. I don't know, but we'll see soon. Okay.
oh my God.
Sorry, guys. I have to take a break for the grandchild. Okay, so you can really see. Close that door. Thank you. When we got this book from the author. He had just laid it out, or I think he had used an illustrator, or he had used his own, creativity here, had these beautiful illustrations, but the font just it did not do any favor to the book. It was very small. It wasn't a good font choice. And when Praise Saffler got it and did this thing, it just elevated the book. The cover, the look and the beauty of this was just totally transformed. So these are the kinds of things that are important with cover design. I'll also go ahead and get back here and just do a little about interiors. So let's see, this is book cover. I'm going to go back here and choose interior stuff. Oops, where are we going? Praise Saffler. And you can see all these things for yourself on her website. On her website, you can also book an appointment with her where you can talk about what it is that you are looking to create and how to work with her. I also, for my mastermind members, Praise comes every Friday morning, and from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. she shows up and answers design questions, gives cover design feedback, all kinds of things. And so she hosts that session, which is free to mastermind members as well. So lots of great information. And even if you're just looking for feedback on something that someone else has given you or that you've designed yourself. So I'm just going to go through some of the interiors here. Now, when you look at this picture, right, it's absolutely gorgeous. And in this particular book, there wasn't like a spread that goes across both, right? We had this one illustration. So Praise ended up taking another piece of another page and designing so that we have a beautiful look how this comes together. The highlighted of important pieces of the text, a nice simple design, and the text looks absolutely gorgeous. We have others, let's see, we can show the interior and the layout of a book. A lot of times when we get it from the illustrator, sometimes they put important things in the middle here, which can get lost in the spine. And so one of the benefits of using a graphic designer is, especially one like Praise, who's familiar with Photoshop, and they can open up the Photoshop and they can move things around and they can tweak the colors and they can tweak the verbiage. So this can make for this is a nice design here where Praise has taken bits of sign language that were covered in the book and put it into one page that ended up being beautiful for the book, and then also turned into a poster later for people that purchased the book. So the difference for someone who is not really well versed in design is like night and day. And you can see things like, having fun with text and creating cover, end sheets for that are glued down or included in your story so that you have some pretty designs. All of that is stuff that a designer will do. And then when it comes to chapter books and things like that, you can have black and white illustrations kind of incorporated within the design. So these are all things that, again, look at the difference. This is a totally different interior, right? It's an ABC book. So we've got a nice, focus on the letter and then highlights of different things and incorporating the design together. So have a designer. Unless you absolutely know how to do this yourself, I wouldn't recommend that you do. There are tools out there that people can use, and our team uses InDesign to lay out things. The illustrations come in Photoshop. So there's a lot of knowledge that has to go through this. I would just say the number one way to ensure that you get sales for your book is to have a very high quality book. So if your design is not working well, or it's just, it doesn't look as professional, if the title's too small, if it's too busy, like all of those things that can happen. Many times I have authors come to me and I back them up and say, you know, I don't want to run ads yet because you really need to rework this cover in order to get the clicks and get what you need. So those are the kinds of feedback that I usually. Cover design is so important. But also when people open up the book, how are they experiencing the book? What kind of quality is there? Is it something that you can be proud of and walk into a bookstore and show them like, hey, here's my book. Will you carry it in your bookstore? If it's not up to par and is not up to what they are expecting with any traditionally published book, it's going to be hard for you to get any sales. Okay, so I'm just going to pause here. Does anybody have questions about what I've covered before we kind of open it up for additional? You can feel free to post questions in the chat, or you can take yourself off of mute for those of you that are joining me here live. And I'm just going to check while we're here.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is Tracy. I'm just wondering, I'm looking at some of the design packages.
Yep.
Some of them seem small, like if you need a whole book, like from character creation all the way to putting the whole layout. Is that something, or do you come with to her specifically
so
with something already in your
talking about on Praise's site.
Yes.
Okay, so the package that my authors do with Praise is $699, and it covers, it will go through and do some editing of your illustrations if needed. It will give you a low-res version of your book that you can share as a PDF for things like Book Vault or what is it, Book Funnel, or to share by email with influencers or others. You'll get a paperback, a hardcover on KDP. You'll get, you get the Kindle, the paperback, the hardcover, as well as a paperback for Ingram Spark. And she will also generate files for your printer as well. So you get all of those things for that one package, and she'll work with you. We do cover design sessions with the authors. So all of that is just part of the service that she provides. And it's really a huge bargain for children's book authors. I know some of the other designers that I've worked with in the past charge as much as $1,500 just for a cover. So it's it can be complex. It can
I agree. I agree that it is a really good bargain. I guess my clarify my question is that you come to her with something. What if you have nothing? Does she work with people who have nothing, or she's working with people who have existing things?
So what she's going to want from you is information about, like, she wants the finalized manuscript, and you are going to need your illustrations if this is a children's book. If it is not a children's book and there's no illustrations, then she'll just lay it out that way. And you might have, depending on the number of pages, she'll give you a price based on how long the manuscript is. So it sounds like maybe you might be looking for an illustrator.
Probably.
Yeah.
For everything. But yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, because cover design and going through, the cover illustration and the interior illustrations. So I went into the details about how to work with an illustrator, how to select your illustrator. And I did that with last week's live session. So you can go right onto my YouTube channel and look at that. It's out there already, but it does talk about that process of working with an illustrator. And I typically I request a few different different samples, and I have a a pre-vetted list of editors, illustrators, designers that I share with my authors and those that are taking my course or mastermind or coaching. I share all of that with you guys. And in the last week, I did share live that my very favorite illustration firm to work with is Prayen Animation. I'm going to put the email address of, there we go. So I'm going to put that email address in the chat, viditha@prayenanimation.com. And the first name is Vijitha, Prayen, Prayan, animation.com. They are fantastic. Again, tell them that you are one of my authors, because that will get routed to my counterpart at Prayen, who manages all of my author projects. And you'll get some extra bonus stuff that they do. That, again, all of the providers that I have on my list that have been pre-vetted, I've also negotiate special things for my authors, and special pricing and different opportunities that will help you as you're looking for that perfect illustrator.
Got it.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Andrea.
So I just wanted to add quickly and do a quick shout out to Praise, because I have actually published 3 books. The last one, they're all in the same series. So I thought I would just use the same font for like all 3 of them, the cover. And I was like, well, I could do it myself. And so I tried doing the cover, and I ended up actually going to Praise for help with the cover in the end. And like the before and after, like my version, even though the exact same font, and you know, the illustrator was amazing in laying things out, like it's so incredible the work that she does, and she does it so quickly too. So just, you know, shout out to her, but also like just stressing the need of professional for the, you know, for the cover design is so, a professional designer for the cover design is so crucial. So
Yeah. So, and
if anyone,
I'm
I
showing
just
your
wanted to
books.
add, thank you. If anyone wants to see the before and after, it like my mind was blown, and she did it in like less than
Are you willing to
30
share?
minutes.
Are you willing to
Oh.
share before and after? I love that. I think that would be a great way to show how that, you know, you try to do something yourself, especially when you've gone through 2 books already and you've got the template and you're trying to do what you're going to do and thinking that you got it right. But yeah, sure, I would love to see the before and after. And if you need time to find it, that's fine. We can take questions until you're ready.
Yeah, I probably need a couple minutes, and I'm happy to show the before and after. And yeah, so I have a little bit of experience with Photoshop and things, and I thought I could do it myself because I have the template and everything, but it's just amazing how much of a difference a professional designer made. Oh, and also I wanted to comment on what you said at some point. If you walk into a bookstore trying to sell your books, and they, you know, I actually did this, and when I mentioned I'm self-published, I was immediately shut down, and then I actually brought in my book. The lady was super nice, but when she saw it, she's like, wow, these don't look self-published. And so I think it's because of the designer, especially, and you know, how things were laid out by her.
Yeah,
I'll pull the before and after also.
Andrea, when you're talking to libraries, bookstores, I would, instead of saying I'm self-published, I would say I'm published with a small press, because you are a small press. You are a micro publisher. You have your own publishing company. You've got 3 books, and you've got this. You've got on your copyright page, there's the all of the identifiers are there. You have it is a professionally published book. So if you find that you're being shut down because people hear the word self-publishing and they have negative connotations, don't let that get in the way. You can, you know, or you can say I'm a small press, and I've published my books through my micro publishing company. And you can definitely have those beautiful quality books, because they're incredible and have been winning a lot of awards. I just love seeing all of the accolades you've been getting.
April, can I ask a question regarding Prayen animation? Can you give us a range of what their fee structure is like for your authors?
Yeah, so they start around $75 a page, and it can go up to about 150 depending on how complex your illustration style is. So obviously, if you've got one character and there's not a lot of complexity, or if you've chosen a type of art style that's not very detailed or doesn't need a lot of detail, it's going to be on the lower end. If you ask them to do really hyper realistic things, it's going to be a lot more time intensive, and that will reflect in the price. And what I normally do is, because I love this firm so much, when I am doing a new book, I go to them and I say, give me 3 different artists. I want 3 different samples. And then I pay for the samples. You pay between $50 and $70 for each sample. And I have them give me the 3, of course I tell them what I'm looking for in the sample. If I want a specific setting and a specific character, I'll just describe the setting. This is what I want. Give them some reference images, and I call it my sample brief. I give it to them, to the manager there, Viditha. She gets 3 different, now they have 35 illustrators and counting. So I love that, because if anything was to happen to one person, then your whole book gets delayed if you're dealing with a single illustrator. But with Prayen, I know that, number one, I have a counterpart on the side, on Prayen's side, where they are going through the process and she manages all of the pieces of it. They'll work with you back and forth till you're satisfied with the sample, and then move it to coloring. So they start with a sketch, and then the end, for say $150 to $200, you've got 3 different artists take on what you've requested, and you pick one, and that's the artist you want to go to. And so from there forward, you can meet with them on Zoom and you go through your whole manuscript together, and what notes that you have put together in your illustration brief. And then they are managing that whole process. It goes so smoothly. And I know that there are others here that have been working with Prayen and have done, and Prayen has done just an absolutely amazing job for me and for so many others, that they are my go-to now, because I don't want to have to manage everything myself and constantly be reminding or asking people if they're going to be able to make certain dates. But that's particularly the whole approach. And if you're giving them an example of an art style, so you say, in this style, this is what I'm looking for. And by the way, here's some references of the individual that I'd like you to mark, to create the character looking like, if you've got reference images, just get it in, and they will take it from there. You could also have the sample and just be a character design, where they'll have a specific character that's really important to you. You send them the different illustration reference images, and then they'll have the character in all different styles, like different positions, so that you can kind of see how they would be able to interpret that. So, and it's great because you can also get other people to vote on which of these 3 do you like the best. And, that kind of engages people on social media. It's a very engaging post. You can also share it with kids in your target age group, and it really does make a difference. It helps you to be able to choose it. Go ahead, Elizabeth. You've got a question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, I wondered if I had asked a question similar to this, but I'm going to ask it more specifically this time. Does Prayen have artists that can create life-looking characters, characters that look in life, not cartoons or kind of sketchy characters? But we talked about the cost of finding an artist like that. Does Prayen have artists like that?
I would say there's 35 artists and a lot of them are really advanced. So I would be surprised if the answer was no, but I would reach out to Viditha at that email address and ask her and give her a reference image and say, this is what I'm looking for. Do you have any artists that can create something like this for me? And by the way, how much for a sample in this style? And it'll probably be like $150 or something like that, because those kinds of artwork can be really time intensive.
Right. Okay.
I'm ready to share if you're ready.
Ed, yes, go ahead and share with us. You can feel free to.
Sorry, can you hear me? I was muted. So these are the two covers. The one on the left I created, and as you can see, like the characters are only from the waist up, and it just looks a little weird. I think too much space above. And then the one on the right is the one that Praise helped me to improve. So
Wow.
I don't know. I was mind blown. I don't know how you feel about this, but I was mind blown. I was like, wow.
Just slightly different. Font makes a difference, I think, and the zooming in on the characters, I really like that.
Yeah.
Because especially when you go back, in order to really decide on what is a really good cover, it might look beautiful in full size, but when you shrink it up to thumbnail size, how eye-catching is it? Is it going to be able to stand out? And I do really love what you guys put together, what Praise did for you in the end. I honestly
she did it super fast.
I don't think yours is bad. I like the fact that the words are bigger on Praises, and I do like the fact that she changed where the names are so that it's not so it's not too much text all at once. So yeah,
Right.
This is really nice.
Yeah.
I do like it. Thank you for sharing. It's a beautiful book.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? So I'll open it up now to any questions about, design, illustration, whatever I was just talking about, or any other, newbie question. I'm here to answer for the next half an hour. Okay. Karen, go ahead.
April, can you address the cost of editors, and are those people in your group, or are there services that you're recommending?
Yeah, so everybody that I've talked about that are just it's kind of a network of people that I have created and collected. I'm a people collector over the past 7 years doing this. And so the editors that are my go-to for children's books, if you're doing a picture book, but I do have a list of pre-vetted folks that are more than just what I'm mentioning, but they are people that have their own services. They will bill you. It's not something that you go through my company for. So I'm raving about people that have done such a good job for me and for my authors. And when I collect these people, I say, if I'm going to send people to you, what special thing are you going to do for them? For my authors, like I want something special, and I want, I negotiate pricing and all this stuff. So because I'm negotiating it for myself as well, but when you start sending a lot of people their way, that gives you some leverage to get even more. So Bobby Hinman, I'm going to put her, Bobby Hinman, and that is fairybooklady@gmail.com if you want to reach out to her. And I'm posting that here in the chat. So Bobby Hinman has been in the business for about 30 years. She has 28 picture book awards. She has a collection of picture books herself, and has written multiple books on writing picture books and publishing picture books. So She literally has written the book on everything that you're going to ask her to do. For her to do a comprehensive edit for your book, which is the developmental edit, it's the line and copy editing. It's also a she does proofreading at the end. What I've negotiated extra for you guys is she also will help you with pagination of your book. So you kind of breaking it out into pages. She'll also edit your author bio, your book blurb, and your Amazon description, and even will add, if you have a press kit that you want her to edit, if she's your editor for your picture book, she will edit that as well. And all of that for the price of $325. So that's a lot of benefit. Now, you are going to find, if you're going on to some of these sites like Fiverr or Reedsy, you might find an editor that is willing to do it for $50. That's what I did when I first got started. But there are different types of editors, and that $50 might be a proofreader, right? They're not going to do the developmental edit, which is going to look at all of those things. And if you have a rhyming book, you do not want to go with an editor that does not have a background in a really good graphic rhyme and meter. And Bobby is excellent for rhyming. She's a great rhyming editor.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Karen.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see everybody. Well, you know, I am right now getting my barcodes from BookCow, and I noticed that they have an option which DPI to use. So 300, 600, 1200, 2400. I don't know what you recommend.
Yeah, for the barcode, 300 DPI is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be any bigger than that.
Okay, great. And then my next question was about draft to digital.
Mhm.
So to use draft.
I can't tell you because I'm sure there was a.
Oh, someone's got a little one here.
Most of you that's got little ones, I love to hear the squeaky little voices, but let's try to keep, if you've got a busy or a noisy background, just go ahead and put yourself on mute until you're ready to ask a question. Sorry, Karen, go ahead.
That was cute though. But yeah. So yeah, with draft to digital, how do you recommend and in what sequence? Because, you know, I'm kind of thinking I'll first upload it to Ingram and then KDP, Amazon KDP, and then draft to digital. And I'm going to use the EPUB version for the draft to digital, right?
That is right. So what I typically recommend, and you can make your own decision. There's a couple of camps. One is really focused on, I'm just going to simplify things, go directly to Amazon, and that's all they really care about. Then there's other people that are like, I want to go wide and I hate Amazon, so I'm just going to go straight to draft to digital. And what draft to digital does is you upload in a nice, easy interface the information about your book, you upload your ebook, and then they blast it to a whole bunch of different places. It can get to Apple Books and Google Books and Kobo and a bunch of others that, you know, I can't even remember them all. So
Barnes and Noble too? Does it shoot out to Barnes and Noble?
Well, Barnes and Noble doesn't sell ebooks.
Right. Yeah, right. Never mind.
Yeah. So, but those that do sell ebooks, like Apple Books and stuff like that, they do go there. And it also it ties into the ebook system that the libraries connect to as well. Because if in library, if you've gone to the digital versions of the library online, they'll allow you to check out an ebook, right? So all of that is simplified and thrown out. Now, on the other side is with Amazon KDP, you have the opportunity to just publish the book straight without any exclusivity, right? Just send it out there. But if you choose to, if you elect to click that button that says KDP Select, then you become part of their Select catalog. And people that like me that have Kindle Unlimited can borrow your book and read it for free. Like I pay $10, I pay $10 a month to get this benefit, this Kindle, to join Kindle Unlimited, and I can borrow your ebook for free. Now, Amazon does give you a little extra love, right? And you know, your book is there as part, but if you select that, you're not allowed to put your book anywhere else. Your ebook, not your print books, but
Okay.
just your ebook. So what I typically say to folks is take advantage of the 90-day period, because you only have to sign up for 90 days at a time. So sign up for the first 90 days, get that extra love while you're, and the extra visibility that comes with Kindle Unlimited. And for that 90-day period, get it out there and use, because as one of the benefits of that joining KDP Select, they also give you 5 free promotional days where you can set your ebook for free, and you can use other promotion sites to, you know, to direct them over to this free ebook. So that gives you a lot of visibility. You can get, I've seen as much as 20,000 downloads of an ebook during one of those promotions, but that's using a site like BookBub to direct people there. But you get a lot of visibility. If you're using, one of my other favorites to use would be thefussylibrarian.com. And typically average downloads are about 600. I've seen up to like 1,200 as well there, but that's a lot of visibility for your ebook. And if people like me, I love to go to get those emails and go, oh, look, what's new with ebooks that's on a promo. And I might click on it, download the ebook. And if I really love it, I'm going to go buy a hard copy for my grandkids, because that's just who I am. I'm always buying for the grandkids. And I think that, and that's, you know, the visibility, getting people to see your book, to know about it. And then the traffic from those promotions drives you to Amazon. So Amazon sees extra traffic coming in, and they like that, because when people are on Amazon, they usually buy a lot more than just, or download an ebook, right? They're shopping for something else. So Amazon likes that. So when you're sending more and more people to them, they're going to show, you know, your book more as well, right? So it's a lot of benefit. So I usually tell my students to sign up for the 90 days, see how it goes. You can turn off the renewing. It'll auto renew every 90 days if you don't make that effort to go in and say, don't renew. But then if you want to go wide after that, then blast it to the rest of all of these other places.
But you have to remember to go in and check don't renew.
Well, once you sign up for it and your book is published, then you can immediately go in and just say don't renew. And then if you change your, you know, so you can go in and say please don't renew. It'll take it off of that.
Oh, okay. Well, will it still give you the love then if you do that?
Yeah, it won't bother you. While you're in KDP Select, you do get that extra boost. And a lot of people who are like me that have Kindle Unlimited, when I read your book, you get credit for those page reads, and then Amazon pays you like a bonus royalty for the page reads that came from Kindle Unlimited.
Okay, and the Fussy Librarian that you said, no, but that is a separate thing that you have to go into. Amazon doesn't automatically feed into that. That's a separate.
Yeah, it's the other way around. So the Fussy Librarian is one of many promotional sites that you can sign up for. Right. And what you do is you purchase a promo day, and the Fussy Librarian has about 700,000 people on their mailing list. And a subset of them have said, yes, they want to be notified about children's books. So that subset of people will get an email highlighting your book. It shows your book cover and the book blurb that you've entered. And then it tells what the price is, which actually it's free. It ends up being free for them. But when they click, it'll take them to Amazon. to your Amazon link. So when you're setting up that promo, you have to include all of that information there. But what an amazing opportunity that is, because it costs about $25 to do the promo. And there are other promo sites out there like ebook soda and oh gosh, there's so many. BookBub is one that you can apply for a promotion, but they're very selective, and only a short number of people that apply actually get selected. I think they said 20%, because they only have so many spaces. Not necessarily that it's anything wrong with your book. It's just that they only have so many and a lot of people applying for it. So if you were to get a BookBub promotion, that would be like $104, I think, last time I looked. And that would go out internationally, and you could end up with as much as 20,000 downloads of your book. So I always tell people, apply. And then if you don't get it, mark it on your calendar to try again in 30 days and just keep doing that. If you let them know, what's special about your book, if you've got a beautiful designed cover, if you've got specific, like a Kirkus review or something that you quote. So I would tell them all of the things that's special about your book. So perhaps it will help it to get selected.
That's so great. Okay, yeah, Fussy Librarian sounds like a real opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll post it in, so it's the fussylibrarian.com. I'll post that link there. So I did have one question here from Healy on YouTube. I'm just joining with, would they be able to copy illustrations from a previous book? Is that even allowed? So Healy, I have had a number of authors of mine who have illustrations, and myself included. I've had 3 different illustrators for my book series. Some of the reasons I walked away because I was having issues with the illustrator, communication issues, deadline issues, things like that. And I finally, in the end, with this newest Christmas book, went to Pray and Animation. And I said, here's what my characters look like. This is what I want the new images to look like. So if you just want to make sure that you own your illustration copyright. So the contract that I use with my author illustrator contracts is something that I had created specifically for that purpose, because I made a terrible mistake with my first book. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I signed a bad contract. So when that kind of blew up in my face, I went back and had an attorney create a contract that I could use. And the contract template that I provide to my authors has information about, it has that you own the artwork. It's a work for hire contract. There's no royalties to the artist. You are the primary individual. And it also highlights the some of the breakdown of the milestones and deliverables, so that it's in a nice template that you can use to turn that into a contract. Now, if you go with Pray and Animation, I've negotiated with them that they will use my contract. So when you work with them and you say, I'm one of April's authors, I want this, and you select from those templates, they're going to create the contract for you with their quote in my contract template. So you'll have all of the protection, and you have complete ownership, and they will do a fantastic job of taking your illustration style and turning it into a really good replica of what you've got already, to the point where people won't even know that it's a different illustrator. Go ahead, Victoria.
My question goes back to the question previously on draft to digital. Do they also take paperback? Is that something that they're currently doing?
We just started to offer print versions, but what you need to know about that is all they do is send it to Ingram Spark. So my recommendation is just do your paperbacks through Ingram Spark, because Ingram Spark's network is so vast. It's like 44,000 different libraries, bookstores. You get,
And I have it with them already.
Yeah.
So your suggestion is, your suggestion then would be that after our 90-day period with Amazon, then to look at it and then do the ebook with Draft to Digital, and that they will blast it. They literally they blast it. How did they just send it out, or?
it goes off to, and you get to look at the list of people that they're going to send it to, and you can uncheck the ones you don't want or don't need. And then it gives you an opportunity to build up some new audiences in other areas like Apple Books and Google Books. What some people struggle with a little bit is like, oh my gosh, now I'm in all these different areas. I probably should do an Apple Book promo so that I get some visibility over there. And maybe I should do something on Google Books. So it does have a blessing and a curse, because now you've got to manage these different fans and try to get visibility on all these other networks as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And you also mentioned that you can, right now, let's just say that I have, I don't know, let's say 25 more days for my books before I could even release it. But you said that I could go in now and say, don't renew?
Yeah.
Or I can go in now. There's a little place. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So you just go, when you're in your KDP account, go to the marketing tab, and there you'll see there's a place that talks about KDP or, enrolling.
Right. I know where you are.
Yep.
Okay.
So you just
and
go in there and you'll see what's enrolled already, and you can say, don't renew. Yeah, that's just one select, and you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Debbie.
I just wanted to share that when I was looking for an editor, I had your list, I was in your class, but then also I was talking to somebody else, and they said I needed to go outside that to see if I could, go to Fiverr or whatever. So I went to Fiverr, and I paid like $260 for her to edit she promised me the moon. It came back, and there was a lot of words that were misspelled, and she just changed the whole concept of my whole story, took a bunch of junk out, put some stuff in there, and it was horrible. And at the same time, I was sending it off to Joanne, one of your people.
Yes, Joanne.
And what a night and day. And yesterday,
I told you the best.
It was night and day. And she was so easy to work with. And I gave this girl a low review. And yesterday I had to finally just block her from my accounts, because she was just kept going, hi, Debbie, I'm here, and can I do this for you? Can I do that for you? And it's like, heck no. So
yeah.
Debbie's book is great.
Debbie's book is a chapter book. It's a longer, like early chapter or early reader book. Bobby Hinman doesn't do those things. So my go-to for those kinds of stories is Joanne Skye. And I'll add her to Joanne at joanneskye.com. And she is amazing. And she is also one of those folks that hosts a drop-in session once a week with actually it's every other week with my mastermind group. So, and right now she's teaching about things. I think this upcoming session is going to be about dialogue tags, how to use them. So she's teaching about writing of books, as well as is a fantastic editor. She's an author herself, and she also is even a screenwriter. So she's now kind of working into those. And the session that she hosts every other week is about novel writing and script writing. So she answers a lot of different questions and goes through that. She's a great person to get in touch with. And I also have a number of interviews with her on my YouTube channel. So if you'd like to see who Joanne is and just kind of get a sense of who she is, I'm sure that I have interviews with both Bobby Hinman as well as Joanne Skye on my website. I mean, on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you, Debbie, for that testimonial. Like I said, I do my best. And you know, I don't always get it right, because some people start out really well and then they get busy and all of a sudden they take on more than they can handle, and they stop being responsive to my people. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if this doesn't get resolved, I'm going to have to take you off the list. And so I kind of have a come to Jesus moment with them. And then if it doesn't work out, they're off. And that's, you know, and then, but because I do stand behind my people, my authors, I'm going to be there to help and go through things. By the way, Debbie, I got, you were going back and, was it you? I'm trying to remember who it was going back and forth with praying on a payment like thing that they're waiting on. And
Yes.
I messaged praying and said, can you please move this forward? I can 100% guarantee this issue will be resolved. And if it isn't, I will pay you.
Oh,
So
thank you.
it's like, yes, of course I will. Because they know I send too much business to them for them to like give me any crap about what's going on with one of my own. So I try to be really kind to them, and I know that I send a lot of business their way. So that gives me a lot more pull with them. And if one of my authors or one of my illustrators or one of my designers, if there's an issue, I step in and I stand behind my recommendations. And if it's a catastrophe, sometimes, you know, I take money out of my pocket to resolve the issue because it's on my recommendation of, you know, my recommended list, and something went south. And so I do what I can to make sure that my people are really taken care of. And I also, on the other side of things, I will stand with my illustrator if the author is, you know, off their rocker. And it happens once in a while. I'm using language that I wouldn't normally use, but I've had some authors and the illustrators are going back and forth, and it's like version 13. And I'm like, 13? What is going on? And the illustrator will be like, please, April, can you help us? This author is like changing their mind constantly. We're doing everything we can, but we just can't. And, you know, and I have to talk with the author and say, hey, let's talk about this. This is an issue. Why is this happening? And usually it's because they've asked everyone and their brother for their opinion, and everybody else's opinion is coming in and they're changing, then they change back and they go back and forth. So they also know that I will stand with them when they need help as well. And that makes for a good relationship. All right, Elizabeth, go ahead. I'm going to get you off mute, Elizabeth.
Okay. If we are mastermind members, how much are your coaching sessions? How much do they cost per hour?
It's $75 for my mastermind members. And for those that are not mastermind members, it's $189. So there's a big difference there, right? I care about those people that join my mastermind or they go through my course and they get a mastermind membership. You know, I comp a certain amount of time after the course so they can get additional support. So I want to do the right thing by my mastermind group to make sure that they continue to get the benefit of the investment that they're making, because it's $49 per month, or you can purchase the year for $4.99. And every once in a while I put it on special and people grab a year, and that it makes it much simpler. But yeah, it's a lot of benefit. You get a lot of different what I should do. Hold on, I just want to take a moment and share my screen here for a second, because I want to show the types of things that we have with the mastermind membership. Not only do you get, me, but there's a lot of people that on my team and with my extended group here. So we do networking. It's every few weeks. So we do that free networking with authors so we can talk about collaborating and things like that. I do Marketing Monday every Monday. We've got a different topic. This Monday we have Rachel Harrison Sund, who is coming in to talk about how we can supplement our children's books with additional low content books. And so she's going to be answering questions about that. Author websites with Glaza. She is my web developer and somebody that I've collected over the years, and she does an amazing job. So she hosts an hour drop-in session where people can ask questions about websites, whether it's Wix or whether it's WordPress. She's got the experience on both of those. And then Crestja does video. So if there's anything video related, you want feedback, or you're interested in talking through what is needed to create a nice video, she's there. She also serves my authors for video trailers and video animation, video books, things like that. And then I have a 2-hour drop-in session on Wednesdays from 3 to 5, where I kind of earmark that for people that are having setup issues with Amazon or Ingram Spark. So in today's session earlier today, I had one individual where we set her book for pre-order. I had another one who was getting their Ingram Spark set up and they were a little stuck. So we went through that. Another one that was uploading a coloring book to KDP. So all of that got done in one day, and they just came on and said, how can I help? Like, what can I do? So number one, not only do you get the benefit of these experts here holding your hand through things, but you don't have to invest, a huge dollars of coaching, one-on-one coaching, if you can drop into some of these sessions. Now, if you prefer one-on-one coaching, that's still available to you at a discount. So, and then today we're doing self-publishing Q&A. And then the hour after this is for my mastermind folks for more advanced topics. So that's an open time slot for them. Canva for authors. So there's so much there that Leslie goes over with her group. Tech topics with Tammy. Tammy is a designer. She's also an author, illustrator, and she has website knowledge. So there's a ton of different tech topics that Tammy covers, and that's an open Q&A session. Design and formatting with Praise on Friday mornings. And then this week we don't have Joanne Skye. She'll be back next week. So this is the off week, but that's at 11 a.m. each Friday. And then I have my authorpreneur open office hours. So again, more advanced topics for authorpreneurs between the hours of 1 and 3. So it's lots and lots of things that you can take advantage of.
Okay, thank you so much for all of this. The coaching session I just tried to sign up for while you were talking. I did not realize that I signed up for 8 p.m. It was the first available, and I assumed first available was 8 a.m.
Oh, no worries. We can figure that out.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Great. So it is the end of our first hour together for those, free open office hours. So I am going to stop my live stream on YouTube. Thank you, everybody who's on YouTube watching. I appreciate that. And I will go ahead and continue moving forward with more.